Right now, you are thinking wrong. Not wrong in the way you're imagining. Not, I got a trivia question wrong. Not, I made a bad call on that one thing. Wrong systematically. Wrong repeatedly. Wrong in ways that shape every argument you've ever won. Every decision you've ever felt sure about. Every person you've ever dismissed before they finished speaking. And the unsettling part? You didn't notice any of it. Your brain is not a logic machine. It's a shortcut machine. It takes the fastest route to a conclusion every single time, and then hands you that conclusion like it was the result of careful reasoning. Psychologists call these cognitive biases. Logicians call them logical fallacies. Most people call them nothing at all, because most people don't know they exist. So sit with this for a second. What if the mental shortcuts that got you through every conversation today are the same ones keeping you wrong? The first one has a name you've probably heard: confirmation bias. But knowing the name is not the same as catching yourself doing it. Here's how it actually works. You form a belief about a politician, a diet, a person you just met. And from that moment on, your brain doesn't search for the truth. It searches for evidence that you are already right. You follow the accounts that agree with you. You skim past the articles that don't. You remember the one time your gut feeling was correct, and forget the 9 times it wasn't. You are not thinking. You are curating. Every time you scroll past a voice that challenges you, every time you dismiss an argument because it doesn't fit, you're not protecting your worldview. You're reinforcing a prison. And the worst part? It feels like clarity. It feels like conviction. You walk around certain of things you've never actually tested. The second one is more subtle, and you've done it this week. Someone makes a point. It lands close to something uncomfortable. And instead of engaging with what they said, your brain does something faster. It targets the person. Who are they to say that? Look at how they live. Look at what they did 3 years ago. That shift, from the argument to the person, has a name: ad hominem. And here's where the whole thing turns over on you. You just gave yourself permission to ignore an idea without ever considering it. You didn't win a debate. You sidestepped one. The cost is invisible because it's measured in everything you never learned, the perspective you never heard, the nuance you never reached, the moment you could have thought, maybe I'm missing something, and chose instead to scroll away feeling superior. That version of you didn't grow. That version of you just got better at defending the same walls. The third one is the fastest of all. One bad date, and suddenly, no one is worth trusting. One colleague who underperforms, and suddenly, this generation doesn't want to work. One piece of information, barely examined, and your brain has already drawn a map of the entire world. Psychologists call this hasty generalization. You take a fragment and you build a cathedral on top of it. Why though? Because your brain cannot stand uncertainty. It would rather be confidently wrong than tentatively right. It would rather hand you a finished story, with a villain, a lesson, a tidy conclusion, than admit it doesn't have enough information yet. But here's the thing about shortcuts. Once you know they're there, you start seeing them everywhere. In yourself, in the people around you, in the arguments you almost had, and the ones you did. It feels like someone turned on a light in a room you didn't know was dark. You become harder to manipulate because you recognize when someone is feeding you the evidence you already want to believe. You become more patient because you understand that everyone around you is running the same faulty operating system. And slowly, quietly, your relationships improve, your decisions sharpen, your arguments become actual exchanges instead of performances. Not because you got smarter, because you got honest about how your own mind works. So the real question isn't whether you've made these thinking errors. You have. Today. Probably in the last hour. The real question is, which one do you reach for most? And are you ready to catch yourself doing it? If this turned on a light, subscribe. There's a new question waiting. Keep asking.